Hi everyone, today we're going to be installing the electronic components into the car. Alright, so the day has come. So today I'm going to try to go and test through my electrical system. I need to build a few things, or at least install my switches and my headlight, high beam, low beam switch, stuff like that. I got my dash over here ready to go. So what I did is I went through my system here and I said, okay, let's pull all these fuses. We're only going to work on these one at a time. What do I still need to build and install? And then what systems do I need to test and how to test it? And then, I just kept going through. And then once I, verify that this fuse is going to be on, what is that connected to? And then go through my list over here and say, okay, well, what did I use that cable to power up, and verify that, I'm testing all that stuff. And so, I don't know, I got 95% of it correct. And, the rest of it, we're just going to have to go, oh yeah, I forgot about this, and, go test it. So, so the first thing I'm going to do is, put those last few things, get my switch panels and all that stuff in, and see if we could move forward on this. All right, so this modern art that I have here is just, it's crazy, but I think I have everything wired up. There's one thing that I have no idea whether I did or not, and that is bypass my inertia switch. I have the switch out of the car, and I remember actually going through and verifying what the pinouts were on the inertia switch, and you would think if I was doing that I would have finished the job, because if I wasn't doing that, I would have just pulled the switch out and said, yeah, I'll wire that later and move on. So that's the only thing I don't know if it's hooked up or not. The only other thing missing is my door poppers. I don't actually have those wired up, but the window motors are wired up. So I'm looking at that wire across the door there. I need to verify that those are not touching anything. And then what I did out here is I just gave myself enough ends here so I could do some metering, make sure that stuff is on, high beam, low beam, you know, when it's appropriate. And then in the back, I had to actually drill out and finally put my ground in. My positive's ready to go, my battery's ready to go. Same thing with the extra wires are down here. They're all separated, so nothing's shorting out. And pretty much I think at this point all I have to do is pull my fuses and start firing up certain things and see what happens. Over there you can see that's my horn. That's the horn wire coming out. I got my hazards, got my turn signals, and something else on there I'm totally spacing. And then what you see dangling there is LEDs, which I haven't decided or put holes in to, you know, mount them. So I just got them temporarily sitting outside the dash just so I could see that they're working. The left one is the left one, the right one is the right one, that kind of stuff. So we're pretty good. I couldn't really fit my ignition switch in. I mean, I could have, but I don't want to scratch up the nice chrome screw that goes around it. And then the other missing hole is my USB charger, which is right there. So for the most part, I think we're good. The only thing that's real weird right now, and maybe I'm just wrong about it, is my light switch. It goes in and it clicks on, and then, you know, you got how, you know, bright your dash is or whatever. But I was assuming that, like, you have to pull it to turn it on, and when I pull it to turn it on, the knob just comes off. So maybe it's not that type of knob. It's just click on and then adjust just the lights, which is kind of weird that you'd have to adjust the lights every time, but maybe that's just how it is. And then of course I have my emergency brake solenoid or actuator, and somewhere in this mess there's my fan control, or not the fan control, but the temperature control, which won't fit on the wood just because the wood's too thick. And there's a headlight switch somewhere, which I'm not seeing right now, but it's disguised. And then there's a LED strip in there, which is my courtesy light, so I can test my courtesy lights. So besides the door poppers, oh, and with the horn, I'll probably just ground that out to test it. So, or temporarily just touch the horn to it and push the button. I'm not going to actually install it or anything. So that's kind of what's going on. So we'll see what happens in the next step. Oh, and then after I'm done, like, with all the major kind of components and what I'll call static components, then I will fire up the ECU afterwards. And I think what I have to do is actually fire it up, program a bunch of stuff on the handheld touchscreen, and then once I get to a certain point, turn it off, take a SD card out of it, go into my computer, and then do some real programming for, like, my reverse lights and my tachometer control and stuff like that. So there's a few things that I gotta set up in the computer. Maybe some of that you could do right from the touchscreen, but it seems like when I go online, it's all done from the computer program. So we're getting close. Oh, and I just remembered, I don't actually have a fuse in my fuse holder down there because I bought the wrong size fuse. So good thing I just thought of that. So I'll probably have to get that before I start this process.